Hello there, Drew Handish of Whiskey Lore. Time for another whiskey tasting. And today we are going to do a little combo here. We are going to a region known for sherry, thus the pink, but we're going to be tasting some smoke. So I'm going with the black tie here. And just like later in this week, I'm going to be doing a tasting of a whiskey that is from Islay that is unpeated. Sometimes these regions are a little bit different than we expect them to be. And there's a diversity growing in Scotch in the different regions where they're going against the common belief of what those regions are known for. And I, for one, embrace that, especially in a place like Speyside, where way back when, before coal was easily shipped into the area, they were using peat. And so it really could be said to be a very old traditional style for Speyside. And they weren't always able to get those sherry barrels up there so easy either. So my guess is they were using a variety of different types of barrels. In the case of the whiskey that I'm going to be tasting today, though, it is all American. So the distillery is Benriach, and it is a Speyside distillery. They are now under the ownership of Brown-Forman, who we know for Jack Daniels, Woodford Reserve, Old Forester, Glenglassaugh, Glendronach, and Benriach, as well as Slainte. So they have a really nice catalog of whiskeys that they offer. And this one is a special release. Now, if you can find this whiskey, it is called Smoke Season. This is the second annual release of it, and they do this in honor of the 50 years that they have been making peated smoky whiskeys, or 50 years ago they started. They've had some breaks, I think, in there as well, as I recall. Did a whole interview with Rory Glasgow of Brown-Forman. You can look that up on Whiskey Lore, the interviews, and we go deep into the history of Glenglassaugh and Benriach as well. And I have an episode completely devoted to Glendronach as well. And this is what I call sort of the in-between distillery. You have Glendronach, which is known for sherry bombs, and then you have Glenglassaugh, which is known for your heavily bodied whiskeys. In fact, shut down multiple times because their whiskey was too good for blends when blends were popular. Benriach has been up and down. And so, but they have been known for their malting floor, and they still use their malting floor. One of 7 distilleries in Scotland that still does their own floor maltings. And so this is grain that is going to be coming from somewhere around the area, and it is going to have probably a bit of a different personality from what we would get from, say, Islay smoky Scotch, because you can probably be dealing with more heather and more of like your foresty kind of notes rather than your iodine and more briny. And actually, versus its relative to the north, Glenglassaugh right on the North Sea, so it gets a little bit of sea character. We're really not expecting that out of Benriach. So Smoke Season, again, this is going to run about $78 a bottle, and it's only in certain markets, so you have to keep an eye out for this. I'm going to be doing another tasting of one of their other seasonal releases coming up next week, which also relates to their malting floor. But Benriach, the first one I had was the Curiositas, and to me it had kind of an odd note, and it took a while for me to get used to it. Once I got used to it, it wasn't hard for me to finish the bottle. Now they've come out with Smoky 10, Smoky 12, and then they have their regular expressions of 10 and 12 as well. And I tend to like the younger 10, which is the Smoky 10, because it really brings a lot more of that smoke out. This is non-age stated, so don't know how old the whiskey is in here. I can tell you that it is aged in first fill bourbon barrels like a lot of scotches are, but it is also aged in toasted and charred American oak, which means it's not first fill, it's actually, it's not first fill bourbon, it's actually first fill Scotch, virgin oak. And so this we would anticipate is going to probably have a bit more of the char characteristics. They are Brown-Forman, so they're likely getting these barrels custom made for them and custom made at the cooperage in either Louisville or their cooperage in Alabama. So very interesting. Let's jump in and do a nosing and tasting on this. And there's a little mineral note that comes with the smoke. Very nice smoke on this whiskey, and a little bit of a mineral note that comes in. Nice toasty smell. There's a little underlying barbecue. When I say barbecue, I'm talking about the meat itself. It's a smoked meat that is coming out on this whiskey. Very, very nice. Really more of a char kind of a note that's coming out, mixing with that smoke smell from the peat. So interesting combination, slightly sweet. Rich. Toffee is the first thing that hits me. Oh man. Some dark chocolate in there, the smoke comes in, a little pepper comes in, but that toffee is the star of the show on this one. Along with, it's almost like Heath Barish in a way, with that dark chocolate coming in, and then that smoke on top of it. This one is the first one where I've gotten, we'll call it the Kentucky hug, because I'm feeling it all the way down to here. This is 53% ABV, so it's pretty strong. I'm going to add a little bit of water to it, not a whole lot. Let's see if it opens a little. Let us see. So the barbecue seems to come through a little bit more after the water. Nice on the palate, but finishes dry. So like if you're a big fan of Glenglassaugh, this is definitely a drier whiskey, but the smoke is all there. It's really, really nice. Looking forward to trying the malting season coming up in a later episode. But what do you guys think of smoky whiskeys? Are there a particular smoky whiskey that you are a big fan of? Leave your comments below. Give me a like if you will, if you enjoyed this video. And until next time, cheers and Slainte. I'm speeding this episode up a little bit because I have a black widow that has made it in from the outdoors. This is joys of South Carolina. And I've been watching him out of the corner of my eye. He's taking a break at the moment, so time to go find a shoe. Cheers.